My child, come and sit with me for a moment. Let the noise of your world fall away and listen with your heart. I am so deeply proud of you. You may not always feel it, and the world may not always affirm it, but my pride in you is as constant as the sunrise. I see the path you have walked, the choices you have made, and the love you have tried to pour into a world that is often thirsty. What you have done recently, those small, unseen acts of integrity and kindness, have pleased me greatly. Now, listen closely, for I want to reveal to you the meaning behind these feelings and what is unfolding in your life. I am the silent witness to every detail of your existence. I see the quiet battles you fight within yourself each day. I am there when you choose a gentle word over a sharp retort, when you stand for truth even when your voice trembles. I notice when you offer your time to someone in need, even when your own spirit feels weary and drained. You may dismiss these moments as insignificant, as droplets of effort in a vast ocean of need. But to me, they are everything. Each time you choose courage, each prayer you whisper for hope, each morning you decide to begin anew after a fall, you gather these moments like precious jewels. You worry that your love and your efforts disappear into a void, unheard and unfelt. That is a lie whispered by fear. I hold every single act of goodness close to my heart. They are like seeds planted in the most fertile soil, and I promise you, they are growing into something more beautiful than you can yet comprehend. Do not fall into the trap of measuring your worth by the world's standards. Be loud applause, by the speed at which your dreams materialize, or by the glitter of public success. True value is not found in speed or spectacle. Your inherent worth is unchanging and timeless. It was settled the moment I created you. It does not fluctuate based on your recent accomplishments or your future plans. It is rooted in the very essence of who you are, my beloved child. Let this profound truth sink deep into your soul, into the very marrow of your bones. When doubt creeps in like a cold fog, return to this quiet place of knowing. You are held. You are seen. You are deeply cared for. You are and have always been enough. Understand that your life unfolds in seasons, each with its own purpose and rhythm. Some seasons are filled with sunshine and easy laughter, where everything seems to bloom effortlessly. Other seasons are quiet and slow, designed for deep learning and inner growth. During a season of growth, you may feel like nothing is happening on the surface, but beneath the soil, powerful roots are forming, anchoring you for the storms to come. In a season of waiting, you may not see the blossoms, but the plant is gathering the strength it needs to flower. You must learn to trust the rhythm I have woven into the fabric of creation. Everything has its appointed time. There is a time for bold action and a time for patient stillness. There is a time to speak out and a time to listen deeply. Your task is to discern the season you are in. If you try to force the pace of summer during the quiet of winter, you will miss the unique gifts that each season offers. When you feel lost or uncertain of which way to turn, remember the internal compass I placed within you. It is that quiet, persistent voice, your conscience, your innate sense of right and wrong, the gentle nudge that encourages you to be kind. This voice is your truest guide. All too often, you are distracted by the loudest voices that surround you. The voices of fear, of harsh judgment, of those who promise quick fixes or who tempt you to build yourself up by tearing others down. I urge you, stay close to your quiet inner guide. It will never lead you astray. It will always ask you to choose the path of healing, to give what you can, and to seek truth, even when it demands a personal cost. I want you to discover the liberating power of forgiveness, to walk through its doorway into a new kind of freedom. Forgiveness is not about pretending the past didn't happen or that the wrongs committed did not matter. Pain is real, and harm leaves scars. But forgiveness is your refusal to let bitterness and resentment take root in the soil of your heart, a space that I designed for love and new life to grow. As you are able, forgive those who have wounded you. And just as importantly, learn to forgive yourself. I know there are hidden places within you that feel broken and unworthy, places where shame whispers that you are too flawed to be loved. I want you to bring my light into those darkened corners. Let the warm, steady truth of my unconditional love heal those wounds. When you choose to forgive, you are not just releasing another person. You are opening a space within your own soul for new beginnings to flood in. Humility is one of the most misunderstood virtues. It is not weakness. It is the very foundation of authentic strength. When you can admit, "I don't know," you open yourself to wisdom. When you allow others to teach you, you expand your world. When you accept help, you build bridges of connection. Pride, on the other hand, is a wall that isolates you and keeps you from learning. Humility invites you to connect with others on a human level, to touch their hands and be touched in return. Be humble enough to say, "I was wrong," and possess the courage to change your course. There is immense, transformative power in this kind of simple, unadorned honesty. Pay close attention to the way you speak to yourself. Your words are not merely sounds. They are powerful tools that shape your inner world. If your internal monologue is filled with harsh criticism and self-recrimination, your entire life will be bent toward fear and anxiety. But if you cultivate an inner voice that is kind, patient, and encouraging, you will discover a wellspring of resilience to keep you going. Practice speaking to yourself with the same patience and hope that I speak to you now. When you make a mistake, do not berate yourself. Instead, say, "I did my best in that moment. I have learned from this. I will try again with new wisdom." This is not an empty platitude. It is the sacred language of healing and growth. Love with a courageous heart. Love is not a simple, passive feeling. It is a series of active choices. Sometimes, love means staying and fighting for a relationship when you feel the urge to flee. At other times, love means having the strength to leave a situation that is destroying your soul. Love requires speaking the truth, sometimes softly and sometimes fiercely, but always with the aim of healing. True love gives others the space they need to grow. It does not try to bind them with chains of control. You will be tempted to love only what is easy, to love only those who return your affection in the exact measure you desire. I call you to choose a wider, more expansive way. Love people even when they are difficult. Offer your compassion to those who do not yet know how to ask for it. At the same time, be clear and firm with your boundaries. Loving fiercely does not mean you must tolerate abuse or disrespect. Sometimes, the most loving act is to say no, to ensure that you and others can remain safe and whole. Do not be afraid of your own feelings. Your emotions are not your enemies. They are messengers carrying vital information. When anger rises within you, ask it what needs to be protected. When sadness washes over you, ask it what needs to be mended or mourned. When you are filled with joy, receive it with open-armed gratitude and let it fill you to your bones. The key is to allow your feelings to pass through you without letting them build a permanent home inside you. Learn from their messages, but do not let them be the sole architects of your decisions. Balance your powerful feelings with clear thinking and with steadfast faith in the path that has brought you this far. You will face crosses in your life, burdens that feel heavier than you believe you can possibly bear. I will not always remove the burden from your shoulders, for sometimes it is the carrying of the cross that builds the strength you will need for the journey ahead. But I promise you this, I will walk beside you every step of the way. I will be your companion, and I will give you the strength to carry it. In the darkest nights of the soul, when hope feels like a distant, flickering candle, remember that I am closer to you than your own breath. When you feel you cannot go on, just take one more step, and then the next. There is a sacred rhythm to endurance. It is present, it is patient, and it is persistent. There is a profound reward for not giving up. Remember that sometimes deliverance does not come in the form of a changed circumstance, but in the form of a changed heart. That, my child, is a miracle in itself. Let your work be an act of integrity. Honesty in the smallest, most mundane tasks builds the character for honesty in the greatest of things. Do not take shortcuts that may offer temporary gain but leave your spirit feeling empty and compromised. When you do your work with honesty and care, your hands are building more than just a project. They are building your character. Be a source of help and encouragement to those who work alongside you. Share credit where it is due. Make space for those who are still learning and be patient with their mistakes. Your life is a story that others are reading. Let the way you work show them what it means to live with honor. Cultivate a daily practice of gratitude. Gratitude is not just for the momentous occasions. It is for the small, everyday blessings as well. The warmth of your morning coffee, the sound of a loved one's laughter, the quiet stillness of the early morning before the world awakes. Gratitude is a lens that shifts how you perceive the world. When you practice it consistently, you begin to notice the steady, underlying goodness that hums beneath the surface of everything. If it helps, keep a written list. Speak your thanksgiving aloud. This practice will become an anchor for your heart, steadying you in times of storm and uncertainty. Be brave enough to speak the truth, even when it makes you unpopular. The truth is a powerful force for healing, but it must be wielded with care. Speak truth with profound respect, never with the intention to wound or shame. Let your words be bridges that connect people, not weapons that divide them. There is also a time for silence. Learn to discern when speaking would only add fuel to a fire. The wise person knows when to open their mouth and when to keep it closed. A single gentle, clear, and timely word has the power to change the entire course of a life. Seek out and build community. You are not designed to navigate this life alone. Find people who will love you even when you are foolish, who will have the courage to correct you when you err, who will celebrate your successes with genuine joy, and who will sit with you in your grief when you lose. And you must give back to your community what it gives to you: your presence, your time, your honest listening. At the same time, you cannot pour from an empty vessel. Learn to tend to your own well-being. Rest is not a sign of laziness. It is an act of responsible stewardship. Your body, mind, and soul all require periods of rest and renewal in order to bear good fruit. Take care of the earth I have entrusted to you. This world is not merely a collection of resources to be exploited. It is a sacred home to be cherished and protected. Plant a tree when you have the opportunity. Do your part to keep the water clean. Teach the children in your life to love and respect the animals and the natural world. When you care for even a small piece of this planet, you are participating in a wide and ancient act of mercy. The health of the earth is intrinsically linked to the health of your soul. Make an effort to listen to those who are different from you. Their perspectives will stretch your mind and enlarge your heart. When you enter a conversation assuming you already have all the answers, you slam the door on the possibility of learning something new. Ask genuine questions. Be curious without being judgmental. If you seek it with an honest heart, you will almost always find common ground. This world is vast and complex, and every single person you meet carries a piece of the truth that you do not yet possess. Learn from your elders, for they hold the wisdom of experience, and be patient in teaching the young, for they are the future. Together, across generations, you will weave a tapestry of life far richer and more beautiful than any one of you could create alone. Be mindful of where you place your hope. If you anchor your hope only in things that are fleeting, guilt, social approval, or the comforts of this life, you will find your anchor dragging in every storm. Instead, set your hope on things that are lasting: kindness, justice, deep relationships, and work that contributes to the well-being of others. These are the treasures that time cannot erode. A hope that is anchored in goodwill and steady, faithful action will hold you fast when the tempests of life come. When fear pays you a visit, acknowledge it, but do not allow it to become the ruler of your house. Fear is a natural instinct, a guard meant to protect you, but it can become destructive when it is fed by the negative stories you tell yourself. Name your fear. Speak to it directly. Ask it, are you guarding me from a real danger, or are you simply keeping me from living a fuller life? Use your wisdom to discern the difference and take reasonable, courageous steps forward. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the choice to act in spite of it. And when you see others who are afraid, stand with them. Offer them a steady hand. Sometimes your courage will be the very light that guides another person through their own darkness. Be a generous person. Generosity is a transformative act that enriches both the giver and the receiver. And generosity is not limited to money. You can be generous with your time, your focused attention, your mercy, and your forgiveness. Give freely without expecting anything in return. When you give, notice the feeling of expansion in your own heart. This is not a trick. It is a spiritual law. The more you open your hands to give, the more you will find you are able to hold. Let go of the need to control every person and every outcome. The desire for control is almost always a mask for deep-seated fear. Release your grip on the things you cannot change. Instead, invest your precious energy into the things you can influence. Your own words, your own actions, your own choices. There is profound freedom in surrendering the things that are outside of your hands. Surrender is not the same as giving up. It is redirecting your strength to where it can make a real difference. Learn to celebrate your small victories. Great accomplishments are almost always the result of many small, consistent steps. Each morning that you choose hope over despair, each conversation in which you practice patience instead of frustration, each moment you refuse to be defined by your past mistakes, those are all victories. Acknowledge them. Celebrate them. They are the quiet, sturdy scaffolding upon which a well-lived life is built. Teach forgiveness by your example. When leaders in a community practice forgiveness, the entire community begins to heal. When parents in a family practice forgiveness, their children learn how to trust and love. When friends forgive one another, their relationship deepens and becomes more resilient. You will not always be forgiven in return, and that can be deeply painful. But forgiveness plants seeds of healing, whether or not you see them sprout immediately. Keep planting those seeds. Be honest about your own mistakes. Shame loves to hide in the darkness where it festers and weakens you. Confession, whether to me, to yourself, or to another trusted person, brings the healing power of light. When you admit your errors, you invite correction and open the door to healing. It is a profoundly brave act to stand in the truth of your own imperfections and ask for help to do better. When you do this, you create the possibility for genuine reconciliation and for powerful new beginnings. Never stop learning. This world is vast and wisdom is infinite. Read books that challenge you. Talk to people who have lived different lives. Try new things that stretch you out of your comfort zone. Your brain and your heart were designed to grow throughout your entire life. Curiosity is a vital sign of a healthy spirit. Stay humble enough to know that you do not have all the answers, and stay wise enough to continue seeking what truly matters. Hold fast to justice. This world is crying out for people who will stand up for those who cannot stand for themselves. Speak up when you witness unfairness. Use your influence, no matter how small you think it is, to protect the vulnerable. Justice that is tempered with mercy is the work that is closest to my own heart. But do not confuse the pursuit of justice with the desire for vengeance. Seek restoration, not revenge. The ultimate aim is always healing. When disappointment comes, as it surely will, do not build a prison around it and live there. Disappointment is a powerful teacher. It asks you to re-examine your expectations, to reframe your perspective, and to try again with the new wisdom you have gained. Allow your disappointments to shape you into someone who is gentler, more patient, and more understanding. Do not let them harden your heart. Pray not as a rote habit, but as an intimate conversation. Prayer is the sacred space for raw honesty, for heartfelt asking, for profound thanking, and for deep listening. You do not need eloquent or formal words. Speak to me simply from your heart. Tell me what is on your mind, what you fear, what you hope for, and then be still. Sit in the silence and listen. Sometimes you will hear a clear word of wisdom. Other times you will simply feel a sense of peace wash over you. Prayer is the golden thread that connects you to what matters most. Remember those who have come before you. Honor their stories. Learn from their struggles and their triumphs. Their lives, with all their complexities, are a part of your own story. When you remember your ancestors and your history with gratitude, you build deep roots under your feet. These roots will hold you steady when the winds of change and the storms of life come. Be a peacemaker. A conflict is an inevitable part of the human experience, but so is reconciliation. In your family, your workplace, and your community, actively seek the paths that led to harmony. Teach others how to disagree with one another without dehumanizing each other. When you work to make peace, do not try to gloss over the pain that has been caused. A true and lasting peace is one that acknowledges the hurt and then works through it toward genuine healing. This is the kind of transformative peace I am calling you to bring into the world. My child, come close and listen with that quiet, eternal part of you that still remembers what is true. I speak to you not to frighten you or to burden you with impossible tasks. I speak to open a window in your heart, to let the light stream in. You have often asked about your purpose. You ask it through a sense of longing, through a feeling of restlessness, through the quiet ache that sometimes wakes you in the middle of the night. I know this ache well. I placed it within you not as a punishment, but as a wayfinder, a gentle, persistent tug in the direction of what truly matters. Purpose is not one singular, grand thing that you must discover and clutch like a trophy. Purpose is the beautiful pattern that emerges when love and truth are woven into the fabric of your everyday life. It is found in the small, ordinary tasks, in tending to a child, in completing a project with integrity, in listening to a friend, just as surely as it is found in great acts of courage. Think of your purpose as a river. You do not have to force the river to flow. Your task is to learn how to step into its current, to float with attention, to steer when you need to, and to enjoy the journey as the water carries you. You often believe that purpose must look like fame, power, or flawless accomplishment. These are not the metrics I use. I measure the quiet faithfulness of your daily choices, the way you greet the people I place in your path, and the courage you show in acting on the side of life. At its very core, you were made to love and to be loved. This is the root of everything. When you live your life from this foundational truth, your life becomes a gift to others and a blessing to yourself. But understand this: love, when it is structured rightly, does not require you to erase yourself. It means expanding your heart so that you can hold others without crushing your own needs into oblivion. True love asks you to find a sacred balance between giving and receiving, between service and rest. Too often you believe that making others happy requires your own self-annihilation. It does not. True giving leaves you intact. In fact, it strengthens both the giver and the receiver. When you give from a place of overflow, from gratitude, from your own healing, from a sense of true abundance, your gift carries the power to heal. When you give because you are seeking applause or trying to fill your own emptiness, the gift carries a hidden weight that will not free either heart. There is a simple, profound truth you must grasp. Your life is not a solitary line. It is an intricate web, and every single strand touches countless others. The joy you offer, the patience you demonstrate, the courage you find to speak a difficult truth gently, those actions ripple outward in ways you will never fully see. A small, kind word can alter the entire course of someone's day. A patient gesture can help restore a battered and bruised heart. You will never fully know the extent of your impact on others. Trust this sacred mystery. Work to make people happy, not as a performance, but as a daily practice. Happiness is not a commodity to be given with the expectation of a return. It is a climate that you help to create. Be the one who brings a cooling presence to the heat of anger, who offers shelter to someone caught in a storm, who remembers the small details like birthdays, who offers the rare gift of listening when listening is scarce. Seek ways to make others happy that are rooted in their dignity. Help that is offered with condescension is not help at all. Serving another person with respect is a holy act. Take the time to truly notice people. Learn the small things about them, how they take their tea, what word always makes them laugh, the particular ache they try to hide behind their smile. These small acts of attention are the secret language of love. When you show genuine interest without judgment, when you celebrate another's success without a trace of envy, you are laying the tracks for a deep and lasting connection. Be generous with your praise when it is deserved. And when love requires it, be honest with your correction, but always deliver it with tenderness. I made you with both gifts and weaknesses. Your gifts were not given to you for hoarding, they are for multiplying. Use what you have to help others rise. If you have a gift for listening, offer your ear. If you are skilled with your hands, use them to build and to mend. If you have the ability to teach, then teach. If you can write, then write with truth and beauty. When you use your unique gifts to help others, you are living out your highest purpose. Do not waste time comparing your gift to another's. A single, clear voice can change a nation, just as a single, steady hand can save a life. In my economy, there is no such thing as a small service. A clean bowl of soup offered to a tired friend is as sacred as a poem that opens a closed mind. At the same time, you must be vigilant against the temptations of selfish motives. Selfishness is a master of disguise. It can masquerade as a desire for recognition, as a need for control, or as the pursuit of comfort at the expense of another's well-being. Selfishness often dresses itself in the robes of practicality, telling you that you must grab more, defend more, and secure more in order to be safe. But this path of greed only narrows the heart and isolates the soul. It takes from the common good and pulls it into a private storehouse that will never, ever feel full. Learn to notice that quiet, anxious voice that whispers, "I need more to be safe." Question it. Ask where true safety comes from. More often than not, true safety is found in trust and relationship, not in hoarded goods. Practice generosity as a spiritual discipline, a counterweight to this fear. Share what you can, your time, your resources, your attention. The very act of giving recipes your desires. It trains your heart to delight in the well-being of others. This is not a call to martyrdom. You are not meant to be a drained and empty vessel. To love others well, you must first know yourself and hold healthy boundaries. Boundaries are not selfish. They are the guardians of the life force you need to continue giving. If you are perpetually exhausted, your giving will become brittle and tinged with resentment. Rest is sacred. Taking care of your physical, mental, and spiritual health is not selfish. It is an act of responsibility. You cannot pour from an empty cup. Learn to say no gently and firmly when a request would disrupt the balance that keeps you whole. Saying no is not a refusal of love. Sometimes, it is the truest act of love you can offer to yourself and to others. Let your daily work, whatever it may be a form of worship. Whether you are tending fields, writing code, teaching small children, analyzing numbers, or making music, let your hands remember their dignity. Do your work with care, as if you were placing a sacred offering on an altar. Do it with honesty. Do it with a keen awareness of the people who will be touched by the results. The world is built and sustained by ordinary things. Clean water, safe roads, food on the table, warm homes, and words that comfort. Seek to make these ordinary things better through your efforts. When you improve the ordinary, You change lives in the most fundamental ways. Do not look down on smallness. Small things, when done with great love and consistency, become the scaffolding of societies that truly care for one another. Teach your children and those who will come after you how to serve. The most powerful way to teach this is to model it. Let them see you giving to your neighbors. Let them see you visiting the lonely. Let them see you forgiving easily and asking for help when you need it. Teach them about the dignity of all work and the deep joy of giving. Show them how to save with wisdom and how to spend with compassion. Teach them to always make space for one more at the table. These are the lessons that will multiply through generations, creating a legacy of kindness. I do not ask you to make everyone happy at any cost. There will be times when pleasing someone would require you to compromise what you know is true and right. In those moments, do not trade your integrity for a fleeting moment of approval. A life lived in constant pursuit of approval will eventually dissolve into a shapeless pattern of pleasing others at the expense of your own soul. When you must choose between a false peace and an honest resistance, choose the honest resistance that aims for eventual repair. Speak kindly but firmly when you see injustice. Protect the vulnerable, even if it brings you trouble. Your actions may not always be popular, but they will be just. Remember always that justice and mercy must walk hand in hand. As you seek the broad good, do not forget the individual who is weak or overlooked. Forgiveness is an essential part of making others happy, and it is also essential for your own freedom. You cannot contribute to another's true happiness if you are carrying a secret storehouse of resentment. Forgiveness is a release, much more than it is a permission. It frees you to love again without being weighed down by the baggage of old hurts. Forgiveness is not forgetting. It is choosing not to live inside the injury any longer. Learn to forgive with clear eyes. Sometimes reconciliation will follow forgiveness. Other times it will not. Forgiving someone does not mean you are required to let them harm you again. Forgiveness and wisdom can and must coexist. Hold both. Forgive and also create the boundaries that will keep everyone safe. Be honest about your motives. Look into your heart often and ask yourself, why am I doing this? If your service is driven by guilt, by shame, or by a craving for reputation, it will not endure. But if it is driven by genuine compassion, by gratitude, and by a clear sense of responsibility, it will have deep roots. The practices of confession and reflection are tools I have given you to help keep your motives clean. Return to them whenever you feel yourself drifting. I walk with you in every single step. I celebrate with you when you give freely. I am there to heal you when you fall. I am the one who sharpens you when you grow dull. I am not calling you to vanish into the act of pleasing others. I am calling you to become a whole and integrated person whose very presence heals, whose work blesses, and whose life becomes a reflection of the great love that created you. Go now and live in this sacred rhythm of giving and receiving. Let your days become a chorus of small kindnesses, your hands become instruments of mercy, and your heart become a home where others can find rest. You are beloved. Use your precious life to make other lives a little brighter. That, my child, is the purpose I have set before you.